What is going on, guys? It is Sloppy Saturdays back here with another episode. And today we have something very, very different than our usual content. I was actually debating on making this video. That's why it's coming out a little late. Today we were talking about Jordan Travis and his heartbreaking end to his football career. Now, the reason why I was debating on doing this because I like kind of upbeat style videos, very opinionated type videos, but I decided Jordan Travis was a guy that brought me a lot of joy watching him play. He definitely was one of my favorite college football players when he played. I think he has a very unique journey in the game of college football, really starting from the bottom to the top, embodying everything the new age college football has to offer. And again, I thought he overcame a lot of obstacles, and I thought he had a unique story that I would just love to share for people who don't know. And for people who do know that tune into me, I would just like to share my opinion and just my personal experiences watching Jordan Travis. So we're going to go over his whole entire story, then just talk about how the injury was to happen, and then just my opinions on everything. So Jordan Travis was a low-ranked prospect. He was only a three-star prospect coming in out of high school. He commits in 2018 to Louisville. He commits at the same time where Lamar Jackson is basically coming out. Now, Jordan Travis was always pretty undersized. I think at his height, with his weight, he might have hit 201. So he's always an undersized kind of guy, which really let him fly under the radar. And again, kind of have an underdog story. So he goes to Louisville. He doesn't get much opportunity at Louisville his freshman year. He only appears in 3 games, and he decides, let me transfer out. Louisville is not the right place. I don't see a path here for success. Now he goes to Florida State. At Florida State, he also really didn't play for a year as well. So he ends up using his extra COVID year of eligibility for his college football career. So we're looking at a guy right now that not only transferred out of his original school using the transfer portal, he also uses his extra year of eligibility in the COVID year, which we're going to highlight how impactful that decision was. So he doesn't play his first year at Florida State. Really, again, you're talking about a guy that appears in 4 games. He had 11 attempts. Again, really just came in at the end of games. And then in 2020, he plays in 8 games. He has 1,000 yards. He has 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Again, we're talking about a guy that really started from the bottom, that was not ready his first 2 to 3 years in college football. And that's okay. Like, the thing about college football and the thing that I don't like is how they expect everybody to produce right away. If you have some type of hype, if you're a freshman coming in with hype, they expect everybody to produce right away. But people have to realize there is different pathways to success. Now, the next year after that, he takes a pretty big jump. He goes from 15 touchdowns to 6 interceptions to the 2021 season, throwing for 1,539 yards, appearing in 10 games. Then in 2022, this is where he really starts to hit his stride. Appears in 13 games, has 3,214 yards, which is his most passing yards in his career. He has 24 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. You could actually argue from a statistical standpoint, his best season was his 2022 season. But now this is where everybody remembers Jordan Travis. This is where the injury occurred, and this is where he really made his mark. We're talking about in 2023, Jordan Travis appears in 11 games, really 10 and a half if you count the injury. He has 2,756 yards, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, he really brought Florida State back. This is what I'm talking about of a guy with a unique college football career and a college football career with impact. Not only was his trail to success, when you look at Jordan Travis transferring schools, really taking 3 years to get significant statistics on the board, but he goes to a Florida State school that was really at its lowest point in the ACC. Florida State was not being talked about a lot. And in the 2023 season, he really and truly brought them back. We're talking about a Florida State team that was undefeated. They were 11-0 with Jordan Travis, and they win the game without him. Now, if anybody knows that game without him, without Jordan Travis, that was a scrappy game. We're talking about two offenses that couldn't get going, and Florida State was lucky to pull out that game. And in game 11 for Jordan Travis of this season, he suffers a huge leg injury. If anybody wants to turn back, watch that video. I don't have it up here, but it was a gruesome injury. I am warning you before you watch. It was a very gruesome injury, the way his leg twists back. Everybody was in shock. And for Florida State, this was the worst possible outcome to happen in this game because in this game, they were playing South Alabama. Granted, it did happen kind of early in the game, but everybody knows Florida State 10-0 at this point against South Alabama. They're just looking to get by this game. They're looking to win this game in the first three quarters and rest everybody, their starters, for a quarter and a half, especially because this was looking like a team that was going to be a shoo-in for the college football playoffs. Now, Jordan Travis's injury didn't only impact himself, it impacted so many people around him. When we were talking about Florida State, him bringing them back, they were a shoo-in for a college football playoffs, which nobody really expected in the beginning of the season. But this offense and defense was just super talented. They had Verse on the defense, and then you have obviously on this offense Keon Coleman, who's on the Bills now. You had Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson, Jordan Travis, obviously, but they were not expecting to make the college football playoffs. And quite honestly, they should have been in it. This was a team that went 12-0 in a major conference. Again, this is a year before the expanded college football playoffs. But this was the craziest part about Jordan Travis' injury. It was one of the most controversial decisions by the college football committee and really college football history. Everybody was talking about this, how Alabama got in over the ACC Florida State team with multiple losses when Jordan Travis's team was undefeated. And it was really sad for the players and for Jordan Travis and for the fans, everybody around Florida State, that they did not get in when they did everything they could have to get in. You're really talking about a team that went undefeated in a major conference. To gyp the school, the players, and everything, to put Alabama in. I get it at the time. Florida State didn't have their quarterback. They weren't going to be as competitive as Alabama, and that was basically the theory of the committee. But you're talking about a team, a school that deserved to be there. They did everything they could have to make it, and they didn't. So Jordan Travis' injury, again, it affected him, but it also affected everybody around this Florida State program at the time, and really was the catalyst to one of the most impactful decisions in college football history, not letting Florida State in this season. But again, we are talking about a guy that really came from the bottom to the top, embodied everything that college football new age stands for. When you talk about using your resources, transfer portal, COVID year, he took everything he could from being a low ranked prospect to have the most success he could have. And he deserved a lot more than this. And I don't want a story to be forgotten. Even in that 2023 season, he wins ACC Offensive Player of the Year and ACC Player of the Year, despite them not making the college football playoffs. Now, he gets drafted after this in the 5th round, which, again, was a very sad story because this was a guy, while he was tearing it up at Florida State, that he was getting rumors to be a 1st or 2nd round draft pick. This injury makes him fall back all the way to the 5th round. He goes to the 5th round to the New York Jets. Now, he's still trying to recover from this injury. The Jets want to take a chance on him, which, again, I don't fault them for doing that. This guy was a star in college football. This guy was rumored to be a 1st or 2nd round pick. They get him, again, quote unquote, at a discount in the 5th round. And it just does not work out for Jordan Travis. I was hearing rumors through the offseason and through the season that the Jets were rushing him back. I don't know if that was the case. I also heard rumors as well that, again, the surgery went wrong. Again, I don't want to point blame at anybody here. When you're looking at an injury, especially an injury this significant, again, everybody is trying to do their best to get this guy back on the field. Nobody has any ill intent. Again, could things that may have been done differently? Possibly, but I don't know that side of the story, obviously. I'm just reporting it. Just such a sad story for Jordan Travis, and just to see him retire this early. And this really sums up a lesson of impact of what one play could really cause to a multitude of people. Again, not only in Jordan Travis's case, as he loses football career, again, he talked about plenty of times how much joy the game brings him. he lost joy. And then again, obviously, everybody looked at the monetary value, how much money he could have made without this injury. But again, this impact, this injury also impacted Florida State tremendously. That school, they could have been in the college football playoffs. They could have had nationwide attention on them, especially a school that he really brought back. And oddly enough, a year after he leaves, they go back down. And obviously, it affects the New York Jets. They sign him, they use a draft pick, and again, he never really gets on the field from them. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays. I wanted to highlight this episode as I always loved Jordan Travis as a player. I loved his story, and he really could inspire other people based on his route to success who are, again, low prospects, don't like the school they're at, want to use an extra year. This is what it's all about in college football, using all your resources, and Jordan Travis did that. I just wish there was a happier ending for him. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays, and we are